I'm Celia. Welcome to Pop Robot TBI.
Hey, I'm Chaffin, and today we are going to talk about what life is like having a concussion. We don't really know where to start, so we're just going to see what comes to mind. I think what is so shocking at first, it was so shocking for me, was that I had to redefine myself because suddenly I went from being super active, like I was a wrangler, I worked with horses. Um, I was doing all the things, working, a full-time job. Um, it I was living a normal life. And then with the concussion, I had multiple concussions, but the last one really did me in. Um, I suddenly wasn't who I saw myself as. So I went from like athletic and up with it and doing all the things and a type A person to suddenly like, oh, walking to the mailbox is really, really hard. And engaging with people in conversation is actually kind of miserable. So this was at like the beginning of the TBI journey. But yeah, it was just such a big shift. And I would say all of last year, I would say last year was like my healing year where I really did focus on health. And I went through so many different doctors and um, just different paths along the healing journey that were not always great. It was truly defining, okay, who is Chafin now and what can I do? Because it it just I was no longer the same person I used to be. Celia, did you experience that?
Now that you mention it, absolutely. Um, it was like a total detachment from my previous social life, my career. Yes, slowly but surely have redefined myself.
Yeah.
Um,
We both stopped working. So that was a huge, like, Celia and I are both service people, like servant hearted. We love to serve, love to support, love to encourage, all of that. She was in healthcare. I was moving into healthcare with the health coaching stuff. Um, but it was this complete shift of, oh, like, haha, we can't really serve others now. We need people to serve us. And then like I tied my identity to always work. Like I've always done that, whatever the job is. I connect so deeply with that. And I suddenly didn't have that. And so it was like trying to figure out every single day, what can I do today that's easy on my brain? What will give me purpose and keep me less depressed, because there was a lot of depression. Um, it was just like it was very dark, and just not being able to do the things that I used to be able to do. Celia's right. Like the social life, really couldn't do that anymore. And if I did do that, I was out. I was out for like a couple of days if I participated in 1 hour long dinner event. I was out and miserable. Celia, can you attest to that?
definitely attest to that. Um, in so many ways. I've like tried to go. I remember one dinner I went to. I don't know if that what is what you're talking about to attesting to, but I walked out right after. I didn't even like eat all of my food. I had to walk out. I couldn't even tell the people that I wasn't feeling good and I needed to go. I couldn't even communicate that because my brain went downhill. I just walked out and I just like ended up getting an Uber, and I was so unfunctioning. I went into this thinking I would be fine. I could go to this dinner, and I ended up leaving like barely surviving getting home, and like texting them, can you please pay for my meal? Because I couldn't even like I was like so low functioning. It's like I went into that thinking I was gonna be able to have this dinner and ended up basically halfway dying and like
Yeah.
making it was like a lunch. I just went to lunch and it was horrible. But that was around the time where I kind of pieced together cutting back on trying to have a social life. That kind of, yeah. Um, so if we try to answer the question, like, what is life like with a concussion? it's like, where would you even start?
For real, is
But
it's so different. And like day to day, it can be different. Like Celia and I are doing so much better now. Like we both had a day this weekend where we forgot we were concussed. Like we forgot that we had TBIs. I mean, she lives in a different state than I do, so we were not together, but like I literally was messaging her like, and then she messaged me, I don't know, an hour, a couple hours later, a day later, I don't remember, with the same
well,
thing.
yeah, it was the most amazing thing. I had like a 6 hour window of being out in public. I was by myself, so it's not like I was like watching a screen or reading a book or doing anything highly intellectual, but like I was driving around and I was doing like solo activities, and I didn't forget about it, but I was very aware that I felt okay. And that has not happened where there weren't any symptoms. Like, and so I sent a voice message to Chafin, like, oh my gosh, you're not gonna believe what just happened. Like, I was like so freaking amazed because this has been going on for me for over 2 years. And like, that's the first time it's happened. And like, I've been working so hard. So like, it makes sense. Like, this is what progress would feel like. And then I say, oh, I see you left me a message yesterday that I didn't listen to. Let me listen to it. And her message was like, the exact same thing. She was like, you're not going to believe what happened. So in the same weekend, we both had the same experience. And I'm like, oh, that is incredible. Yeah, no doubt. That was like one of the coolest things that happened in a while.
But like this goes to show that we go through so many ups and downs. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, I had a horrible day. I way overdid it. My brain pain was at like an 8 out of 10. It was awful. I vomited even, but that's like the extreme. But then this weekend, I forgot I had a TBI, so it's like, what's life with the TBI? Well, what part of the journey are you in? That's the question.
Yeah, it's very day to day, week to week, hour to hour. It's like we definitely trend up, which is cool. Yeah. But wow. So my thoughts on what is life like with a TBI, especially in the beginning, actually, I mean, this is still current, but I now have a better understanding sort of it. But it's like, it's very confusing because you're tired. And so your brain, I personally was feeling I wasn't confused like what my name is and where I am, but I was confused on like trusting my senses, like my hearing and my vision, and trying to like manage other people in your life. Like trying to communicate is confusing because it's like you worry if you're getting your point across, or what are people thinking because you're not able to communicate. Like it's just really a lot of confusion, and there's a lot of pain. A lot of pain.
Dizziness or nausea or emotional pain. It's just
I get like head pressure. Yeah, emotional pain. Yeah, head pressure. I get neck pain. My eyes hurt.
Yeah.
From trying to look at things. Your ears hurt.
Yep. Yeah, so it's challenging to say, but I like what you said about the trends, because there very much are trends, and Celia and I have been working hard to see those trends to be able to learn from them. So each week we talk about the percentages thing, because for me personally, that's kind of that is one aspect of the game that changed for me when I started taking note of my percentages each day and figuring out, all right, like I'm at 18%. What can I do as an 18%er? Oh, when I rested and didn't drive, I really couldn't drive much. So like I could drive to the store. Maybe that's it. Maybe to a park if it was like 10 minutes away. But like I could do those things. But if it was an 18% week, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just stay at home. And if I really do need to go out, I'm going to Uber, or I'm going to ask my roommate to take me somewhere. And I noticed that like by doing that, there would be a slow progression where I went from 18% to, 21% or 22% and like slowly up. And then, yeah, I would overdo it or something outside of my control would happen and I would crash back down. But the cool thing is, like, I don't know if you experienced this, Celia, but when I would move up and then I would have a crash, I would get back to the place I was before a lot faster than previous to the percentages, because prior to me following and tracking and really paying attention to where I was at and what I could do and what I couldn't do, I mean, I would waste myself on things. I would go to the park and be like, I'm gonna walk 2 miles, and then I would get a mile around and be like, well, crap, like I can't make it back, I'm stuck, I'm so dizzy, I don't know what to do. And then I would be forced to walk all the way back, and then like I screwed up my week, like I'm done for the week. Or I would try and hang out with friends and do that, and like just going to a restaurant was so overwhelming, and I have to wear earplugs and sunglasses, and I would be exhausted for the rest of the week because it would take me an entire week to catch up from just one event. But the percentages things kind of helped me realize that. So that's when like the change started happening.
Yeah, so life with a concussion is like, it's just very humbling. You embrace like being a little bit weird, because normal people are like, why is this person doing this? I feel like I really embrace that. I kind of like it. I'm like, if you only understood like how you're not being nice to your brain. Because now we're so sensitive to nervous system stuff. It's like when other people are out in the world doing things, I want to be like, did you know your brain does not appreciate that? Because like we're now so sensitive to at what capacity each type of thing affects the brain, but yeah, so life with concussions, like maybe sometimes you're going in slow motion, like literally, like I'll get dizzy, so I'll just be like moving in slow motion. Like not everyone can say they've tried that for a whole 2 years. A lot of time spent alone, because that's what's easiest on the senses. But there's so many gifts along the way, because I feel like this is like I don't know if you agree, Chaffin, but it's like source like has knocked us down, and being unable to go and do things like watch TV or go do social things or go travel, you're like forced to be still and in silence and in darkness. I was for most of this experience, and then during that time you go within, and then you're learning all these lessons, and you're taking off all the layers that aren't serving you. And so and then I feel like as you learn the lessons, like you get a notch on like on the noticeable healing, and then you're able to function better in the world. Like that's a correlation I've discovered, so therefore I believe in it because it's been my experience. And so it's like, as we do this work, it's hard work, but we're being rewarded, because I feel like we're not going through all this so that we could be stuck like this forever. We're going through all this so that we can learn the lessons, and then we'll be given the freedom to go out in the world and share what we've learned, or be a light in other people's lives and try to use our wisdom to do something good in the world. And it's just kind of like a beautiful process, and that's my belief behind it. It feels good to me. It makes sense. Some people might think that sounds nuts, but it's very much been my experience.
I agree with that. And you have helped me see this. My physical therapist has helped me see this. Some other people in my life have helped me see it. But we're doing the work that so many people either don't slow down enough to do, or they don't have the chance to slow down enough, or it hits them later on in life. It's hit us all at once really early, in terms of like the physical, like we are literally teaching our bodies how to work in a new way again. Like Celia and I both are, I don't know, I think we've surpassed the toddler range, but I would say we're still, 10-year-old bodies, like learning how to work our muscles again. At least I am. Like my PT is having to reteach my physical self how to work, and like emotions. Oh my gosh, like we are learning so much about how to process emotions, how to feel emotions, how to deal with things when we get triggered. Like the TBI itself, when we got them, that's traumatic. Like whoever's had a TBI, it's traumatic. And even if it's like literally one of my TBIs is I hit my head on a cabinet door, which is very lame. The other ones are cool. I mean, not really, but the TBI cabinet door is kind of lame. But anyway, that was still traumatic. Like I still have a fear of cabinet doors, and I've had to, really work on that. I'm not really afraid anymore. I'm just very aware. But for real, it's like we've had to go back and work on so much trauma that has gotten trapped in our bodies, whether it's with the TBI or with something else. And because of the experience we are going through right now, where we do have so much time alone, where we do have a lot more emotions, where things are confusing, where our brain fixates on certain things or gets overwhelmed by certain things, we have to slow it down, break it apart, and slowly move forward with wherever we're at. It's not like you're sad with the TBI. It's like, oh, you're sad, get over it, move forward. No. No. I mean, being
okay,
sad
my
hard.
my final thought is that, okay, so in the beginning, or sometime in the beginning of this experience, so dramatic, in the beginning, one of the things that some people said was to get better, sometimes people get stuck in their concussions because of their mindset. And I'm like, what? My mindset's great. I don't know what you're talking about. And I just like think it's so crazy, because I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And then after actually diving into the healing, I would say like over 50% of the component of healing is your mindset. Like believing, I don't even know how to describe it like in a short amount of time, but the mindset component, it deserves a massive deep dive. And so if anybody has heard something similar, like even if you think you already know, just like you don't, like go deep dive.
I would agree.
So that was our attempt to explain life with a TBI.
We're all over the place because TBIs are all over the place. So thanks for joining us on this all over the place journey for today.
I was like that before, to be fair.
Okay, bye.
Bye.